Hi, it's Pete from Bullet here. I'm going to show you how to run payroll. So in this example, we're going to just do one payroll run because I think it's the least confusing way to show it. And then I'll show you how I delete that payroll run or edit that payroll run. Okay. And then after this, I'll run through paying like 4 people and stuff like that. So down into wages. Okay, so if you haven't imported the RPN file, you can find out how to add employees to Ross that way. But we're going to do this now. So this is a fresh account here. And we're going to do the revenue RPN lookup. I've added in my cert. If you want to import your cert, you click that button there. Enter in my password from Ross, which is this password I get here. This is just our test Ross account, which works when it wants to. I'm going to click process. And then it is going to bring in, let's see if I can get rid of this guy. You have a little workflow here on how to pick your PRSI class. It's very simple. Just answer these questions. Let's say it's me I'm setting up. Am I over 65? No, I'm not yet. Am I under 16? No, I'm not. Am I in public sector employment? No. Am I self-employed or a director? I'm going to say no. And is this employee working through community participation scheme? I'm going to say no. And class A is what I have to pick. Okay, so they're all class A, and I'm going to leave that there like that. Okay, and I'm just going to make Kyle weekly payroll. Okay, so that's all the employees set up. That is their tax details, 100% right. Okay, and that is the beauty of this RPN file. Previously, Bullet really pushed people towards the P2C file. That's kind of what the RPN is replacing. And it just ensures you never make a mistake. It's a much better way of doing payroll. We think so. So, okay, let's jump straight in. So we're going to have a look here at our reports. Okay, because now you'll create these monthly reports. The payroll, so the P30s, P35Ls are gone, as well as your P60s and P45s. So you can see here, this is all empty. And you see up here, we have a submit payroll report. So that's how you can get to it from the dashboard. Okay, and we'll always show you kind of the next 3, which is probably the area you're going to work on. Or you can come into overview and you can click future, and then you click the most relevant one here. Okay. There we go. Brings you straight into it. Another quick way of seeing the most relevant one when you go into future is just to have a look at the status days. Okay, because it's going to be the one most close to you. So if we, let's say, change a period and it jumps like that, there's a real quick indication, because sometimes the detailed view can be a little tricky. Okay, so let's jump in and shoot some payroll off. Okay, so the first person we're going to pay is Alexandria. So the payroll hasn't changed at all. As you can see here, it's all very similar. And we're going to put in €1,000. Okay, I'm going to click review and we're going to click save. Okay, so normally you'd send that off to Alexandria. Okay, but in this case, what we are going to do is we are going to finish payroll and we're going to submit the payroll report. So there it is up there. These are the reports that I showed you. So if we go in here, so after each payroll run, you submit these up to revenue and they calculate your tax. There you go. So there's only one option here. You can open up this period. You can see what's in it. Okay. You can click on this and it'll bring you to that payroll, but let's submit this. Okay. So we have installed our tax certificate, which is the revenue certificate. You can import that here. As you can see here, click import Ross certificate from the right menu. And you're going to be constantly asked for this password. Okay, this is not our setup. This is Ross's setup. So you can see, there we go. So now we have submitted that up. Okay, so you can see there the status is submitted. My next step is now I'm going to check payroll submission status. Here is the status here, acknowledged. I'm going to check payroll submission status. Again, I have to connect to Ross, so we're going to put in this. This is probably going to pop up again. So submission status completed. Okay, and then you can see there that says submitted. So we're now going to edit this payroll. So we can go into this in a quick way like that. I'm going to remove that. I'm going to click delete there. And I'm going to edit this to 800 euro. Okay, and I'm going to click save. Now I've made a change to that. I need to resubmit that up. Okay, so you can see here status is edited. This then link appears here. This disappears when you shouldn't use it. Okay, so we're going to submit payroll. We're going to put in our password. Okay, so you can see status is submitted. Okay, now I'm going to check payroll run status. I'm going to pop that in there. I'm going to click that. So I've got some crazy numbers here because this is just a test tool. And you can see here completed our 2 wage counts because we have submitted it twice. Okay, so nothing gets deleted here. It just gets resubmitted and recalculated. Okay, and then when we go in and have a look at that return, so we can go in this way and we'll click this guy and you can see it's submitted and you can see there is your tax liability, and that is all now sitting automatically up on revenue. And then at the end of the month, or a couple of days after the end of the month, revenue is going to, on revenue, on Ross, not on our website, not on Bullet, is going to give you a total of all these calculations. And then after a couple of days, if you accept it or do nothing about it, it's just going to direct debit that from your account. So it actually automates all your tax returns. So it's pretty handy. So that's all you need to do. No more P35s, no more P35Ls or P45s. Or P60s or P46s. Okay, so that's how you do payroll. So we're going to run this for multiple people now, just to show you how easy it is. So I think we set him up for weekly payroll. So a good rule of thumb, okay, if I was running payroll, so let's say this was a week later and I was running some more payroll, let's say for Kyler here, I would update RPN file. Every time I go to run payroll, you know, if it's weekly or monthly, I would just go in and update all my payroll. And it's just like that. It's as easy as that, okay? And that makes sure that your payroll is bang up to date every time. All right? Because you don't want any additions later on after tax returns are submitted. So we're going to pay him €1,000, and let's say we're going to do that on the 2nd. And we're going to click review, and we're going to click save. Okay, and then let's say I'm going to do another payroll run for Kyler because we have him set up as a weekly employee. And I'm going to do that for, let's say, the 9th, which is the next week, and €1,000. So that's 2 pay slips I've created now for Kyler. I'm going to finish my payroll now because I'm happy with that. Okay, so there are 2 new ones here. Okay, and Andriana has been submitted, so that's all fine. And there's 2 here for Kyler. So we're going to click that submit button. We're going to pop that in. So we're just resubmitting it back up to Ross to tell them, hey, we've just run some payroll. Now what we're going to do, so there we go. So that's acknowledged. They've accepted that and it's been added, classed as submitted. Okay, and then what we're going to do is we're going to check payroll submission status to see how it's getting on up in Ross. It would be nice if they just told us. Okay, so the status is completed. There it goes. And Kyler's 2 have been deleted or submitted. So remember we submitted 2 for Alexandria and 2 for Kyler. So that should be 4 in total payroll runs that have been sent up to Ross. There we go. Oh, sorry, we submitted 3 there, and then the 2 and 2. So we updated 3. That was the edit and the edit of the 2 payrolls, and then those 2 there. Okay, so I hope that makes sense. Thanks very much.